Good morning. Welcome to Spirit Coffee Talk on this Feel Good Friday. It's just obviously myself, Lisa, and Ginette. Today, Elyse has a busy day. She's a little working bee, helping and
She
sending
is.
love and light with all she does. My goodness, that girl, she does
She's
more than
busy.
any human I've ever seen. So, sending her a ton of love today and energy for her busy day. So, we'll be missing Elyse. And at some point, it will be all three of us again. Hey?
Yes. It's been a funny month. Hey, it's just been
Has
like
been.
two and two and
We've
two
been
and
pulled in
two.
different directions for
Yeah.
various reasons, but here we are today, and we're going to get into it a bit. It's
On the very last day of the
the
month.
very last
Right.
day
Yeah.
of March. Yeah.
Yeah.
March has been a whirlwind in different ways. I know that people have been feeling it. No matter how you've been feeling it, we've been feeling it.
Mhm.
That's what we kind of want to talk about today. We want to talk about what's happening on our earth plane, what's happening in our conception of around our earth and the enlightenment around our earth and what we've been getting messages from our guides and just what's happening right now. And I think there's a
Mhm.
lot going on. So some of the buzzwords you might have heard a lot lately is solar flares, massive solar flares, Schumann resonance. We've been experiencing these amazing northern and southern lights. I know that people have been posting pictures about that everywhere, and they're the most marvelous things. And how those are actually connected to these beautiful solar flares and how we feel them as
Mhm.
humans, and what to do with it. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be a big Friday.
It's gonna be a good one for
Yeah.
sure. So we're going to tap into Mother Earth energies, but why don't we work like cosmos down, is what
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking. So
Okay.
if we look at the sun, so the
Mm.
sun, as we know now, for those of you that have been watching us for a while or listening to my podcast as well, we have been talking about the sun is more than just a heat source. It is literally consciousness in another form and embodiment. This is kind of the same energy as the three guides of the light guides in which you brought through before. There is consciousness within the light. We could picture it that just like a cell in our bodies carries a consciousness, the photons from light carry a consciousness. And so, Spirit has been talking for a long while about these increasing solar flares that we would see, which we are seeing now, that are really bringing in higher consciousness, these bursts of consciousness energy through the photons, but also the energetics and how they affect our planet and each and every one of us, is to raise our consciousness, to trigger us in some way if there are things that need to be cleared out, but also to essentially open or blossom our minds to receive more. So it's like every time there's another burst of a solar flare, the flower that is our consciousness opens more and more, which then can receive more light and then share more of its beauty. So all of this stuff I would like to start by saying is really happening in favor of our evolution
Absolutely. It's in a much higher frequency. We are
already.
receiving light in a higher frequency than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, my guides have been nonstop, specifically about this. These guides that have come in specifically about this and solar light energy and how they guide me to sit in front of my window and just it like absorb the sun as what they say of source energy. So like actually absorbing the light of the sun like that of God, that of source, that of creation. And many ancient teachings say the same thing, right? And it's whether however you want it, and they're really like explaining things on like that high frequency, like look at photosynthesis and how like these light touches all over the earth that evolve and move through the cycles of the sun based upon that energetic, it's a frequency that's so high.
Mm-hmm.
And we as humans are starting to open up and grow in this higher frequency from the sun,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
You
so
know,
these
and
flares, these massive bursts that are coming in, it's like It's like these pulses, like pulsating that we get and we absorb it like, "Ooh," and really
Mhm.
what it is vamping up our frequency into a higher vibration on on a level that we've never experienced before.
Yeah. It's literally like rewiring your house, uh, electricity, right? Like giving it bigger ampage, is
Mm,
what's happening to our nervous system, which is why so many people feel the effects of this with anxiety, with rapid heart rate, with feeling dizzy, feeling overwhelmed, feeling just agitated, jittery, or
because our
super
nervous
energetic
system is
receiving
vamped.
it. Yes.
Mhm.
And this is actually a good thing, but we have to just try to reframe the way we receive it out of fear, like
Exactly.
we've talked a lot about, and
Totally.
kind of take it in like, okay, so if I'm getting an upgrade here, what can I then do with this upgrade? What does this mean? And so I think we're really stepping into a phase right now of discovery and not quite knowing exactly what that looks like yet. And for some
Absolutely.
people, that can be really daunting because they're like, I like
Mhm.
a plan. But for other people, they're like, ooh, what
Yeah.
does this mean? Let me explore.
Yes. And you're right about that because I think some of the feelings and the physical expressions in our body from this really high vibration that we're all receiving, whether you like it or not, it's coming in. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
And so some of us that especially are quite sensitive can feel this influx in our nervous system. And then what we tend to do as humans is we relate that feeling to something. So we like to pair it to something, and it's like a wiring that has happened in experience. And so with that pairing, it makes us feel like we have an answer then. So, "Ooh, anxiety, that must mean this." And quite often we'll pair it to things that have occurred in the past. But I would really would like to encourage you to sit with this more because it's actually not to be paired with anything other than receiving high frequency energy, which is really healing and beautiful. And you do, although it might present in a physical way like anxiety and things that have presented in the past because of fear or an event or something like that, it's to not be paired with anything negative or anything that you've experienced in the past. It's just to be absorbed with the least amount of resistance possible. So even if you feel this hit of like anxiety or nervous system that's just vamped, try to just like come in with a consciousness of breath and love and feel like it's actually just like your nervous system is just going through with this light and just doing this upgraded healing.
mhm,
And you'll probably be more tired. And so rest more. They're saying receive it with rest,
mhm.
receive it with rest and
That's
water.
and water. You know what? Actually, that came through just yesterday was how water is so key to allow the energy to move through. If we don't have enough water in our body, we don't have enough of the conduit for it to move through. Because think about how
Definitely.
electricity loves to move through water, right? They say get out of the water if there's a thunderstorm, lightning storm. Same thing, but in a way that works for us. The more
Yes,
hydrated you are, the more the energy can move without hitting kinks
absolutely.
and roadblocks.
Yeah.
So hydration really matters. And I thought that was so interesting when Spirit said that.
Hydration
Um,
really matters. Like to me, they said you even kick it up a notch. I got really good quality electrolytes,
mhm,
and that's really helping with my hydration as well because that is
'cause it
the
helps you hold it.
definitely. So that is
Yeah.
that's the amount that I need to be able to receive it in the way that
Mhm.
it's coming in because it's coming in. Obviously, we can feel it, like this mass amount, which is beautiful. Like
Yeah.
I've experienced more light and love and like that source energy of love to give more than I've ever experienced ever in my whole life that I can even
Mhm.
remember since probably like the almost like the little visions where it's not like conscious memories, but the little visions I had when I was very little. And I'd be working with, Mother Mary who would help me being like, it's okay. You're gonna be okay.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I don't want to be here. And she would send me this love when I was really little. And
Mhm.
it's almost like I'm feeling this love for the first time since that source energy that I can consciously remember.
Mhm.
Or when my babies came in. We're talking about being a mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Same kind
true.
of thing though. Like when you are pregnant, um, you're so tired. And it's this influx of energy that is added to your
Yeah.
body, and your body's working so hard to like restructure and upgrade to be able to hold this being. It's so much bigger than just the physical part of it. And well, then we're able to be like, oh, okay, well, I can't have this and this and this toxins. I have to have this and this and this good nutrients. I'm gonna
Mhm.
have to eat, like sleep. It's almost like treat your body the same way
So
to
true.
receive this higher vibrational being that
Mhm.
is permeating through your heart and through, source. We're moving
Yeah.
up, down, right? Yeah.
Totally. That's a beautiful comparison. One other thing they mentioned too with the water yesterday that helps us integrate is the correct temperature. And so I was like, what do you mean the correct temperature? And they said heat.
Not
We
too
actually don't, yeah, we don't receive and integrate the energy very well when we're really cold. Now, I want to really clearly state this doesn't mean if you enjoy ice baths that you're going to ruin it or anything. But what I mean is, they showed me when you tune in, when you're tuning into spirit, doing so, when you're wanting those communications, doing so in a temperature in which you are warm will help the energy flow also.
Oh,
So
I can
hydration and
100%
warm.
agree with that. So,
Yeah.
Jeanette, when you this is kind of like a like this is me and you sitting over coffee question, but
Yeah. Yes.
when you yes. When you started having these like maybe end of karmic cycles really integrating into higher consciousness and frequency like we're talking about. Is that when you started to become really cold and you had to be warmer, 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 warmer?
It's hard to say. I would think that's a really good correlation, but for me, it's hard to say because I was also always really cold when I was severely anemic.
Right. Right.
So
Okay, so that was
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I do know that kind of to answer in a different way, that I will get my best information and be the best conduit when I'm literally in the bath with a glass of water. So I'm in heat, in water. Also, having water is usually like if I want the absolute perfectly triangulated situation for channeling, that's it.
yeah.
So warmth is
That's so
key.
interesting. I sat in the tub on Wednesday. My husband was actually able to help me with the kids' activities. And I sat in the tub. I just kept adding hot water for like 3 hours with a
Yes.
big water bottle and a candle. And I sat there, and you're right. This just steady flow of info that came through with a water source, but warm. I have been so cold. And I'm usually not cold. I'm usually
Mhm.
hot.
Yeah, you are. You
Yeah.
totally are. Yeah.
And I have worn like layers and layers, and I'm like, I need to be warm all the time. All my liquids are warm. My food is warm. I am not eating any raw vegetables, nothing cold. Nothing.
Mhm.
And it's like, and it's probably because of that steady stream of info is coming
Yeah.
through, and it's just like stay warm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you may find that changes in the summer, right? So, seasonally, for anyone that lives in different seasons, you'll have to adjust it. So,
Mm.
summertime, you may feel more inviting of cold things to help, again, keep the optimum temperature if it's really hot where you are. But uh, temperature and water was
Yeah.
big ways to be a conduit of the energy, of this new
100%.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's really interesting too, because right now, where we sit now, just on the precipice of walking out of March, Spirit wants to do everything possible to help us integrate this, to help us understand what is happening too. It's not just like, here's stuff, figure it out. They're like, here's light energy, here's how you need to integrate it, here's what it could feel like, and here's what you can do with it, right? Like, get
Mhm.
curious, go discover what it is, because they want us to work with these energies. And that one of the most beautiful things about the way this is coming in through these solar flares right now is that it's not only giving us the energy of it and we're feeling it, but it's giving us the visual. And for most people on our planet, the visual of the auroras, the northern southern lights, helps us realize there is an actual thing happening. Like I hear about solar flares, I feel it, I'm exhausted, I'm this and this, but look at what's happening. Okay, so this is real. Again, it's this triangulation thing to give us more structure. So I see the auroras as the most beautiful gift right now to make the energetics tangible.
I agree.
for
And
us to then
so
integrate.
beautiful.
And they are. They're so
Oh,
colorful right now.
they're so colorful and they're so full of this vibrant energy, this like angelic type form energy that's coming through is this like overall and if you've talked to anyone who's actually witnessed it, it's like the receptivity of this love, like this nurturance. It's almost like feminine
Mhm,
nurturance that is this representation of it.
mhm.
So yeah, that's no mistake. It's absolutely
Yeah.
no mistake at all. That's a physical manifestation of these solar flares that are coming in. That's absolutely essential to our planet's ascension.
It's totally timely. And one thing I want to say too, for any of you watching the videos, because energetics can come through videos, or if you're lucky enough to actually watch the Northern Lights, Southern Lights in person, when you see those bursts that expand even faster, recognize that that energy as it bursts is coming down directly and interacting also with your aura. So
Yes.
your energy is also going through those same patterns. So what you see, your body also sees. So it can be this full body experience of like
Yeah.
visual cues, energetic cues.
Yeah.
And I do believe we could pick up some of that energy even through the videos if you
Oh,
really allow yourself to
absolutely.
feel into it.
Absolutely, you can. Yeah.
But especially if you're there, ah,
I know.
it's glorious,
I know.
glorious.
Um,
So, oh, you go.
sorry, they were just talking to me about connecting to with sound.
Yeah.
So that to be able to go in and find some frequency sounds to be able to align with the energy as it comes in. So maybe do a little bit of research on which frequency sound correlates with the energy coming in. So like, have you ever gone on YouTube and just like
Hmm.
found the different sound frequencies?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
yeah, like see which one works for you. I love that
Mhm.
you said that because
Mhm.
that's what matters. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what you like,
absolutely.
Lisa, or what
All of a
I like.
sudden,
It's
yeah,
like
you'll hear it and be like, "Oh, okay,
that.
that's a tuning with my frequency." One more
Mhm.
question. Have you noticed a difference in people's auras?
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you're saying this today. This morning, sorry, I'm yelling. Okay.
Because it's exciting.
Clearly passionate about this. This morning, I went to wake up my daughter and I opened her room. She sits, or I opened her door. She sits up and, usual good mornings. And I noticed her aura was huge. And I don't normally see her aura in the morning. And I said, Bree, your aura is so bright this morning. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Wow. And so I walk up away from her room to go wake up my son. And I'm like, that was interesting. Then I go wake up Easton. I'm like, hey, buddy, good morning. And he sits up, same thing. Whoosh.
Mm.
His aura is huge. And I was like, buddy, your aura is massive this morning. So I love you brought that up because, yes, absolutely. Today, specifically, I noticed the energy radiating through my kids,
So that's why
radiating.
they wanted me to, so that I like talk to her about this because what's happening too is as we are being amplified by these bursts of this solar energy, our auras are absorbing it and therefore amplifying, which connects with other people's through heart center. And it's like that is the almost like quote unquote proof of individual what are they saying, like individual receptivity of it. It's almost like the steady stream, some more than others obviously, but that you'll be able to like it amplifies our auric field, our energy field.
Mhm. Like a beacon.
Yes.
Totally. Totally. I
Yeah.
love that you mentioned that. That makes so much sense. Because
Yay.
literally what I saw this morning, it was so neat. It
Yeah.
was so neat. And so then if we bring that cosmic stuff down to earth, the Schumann resonance of the earth, like the frequency, the vibrational frequency of the earth has a direct response also to the solar flares a couple
Yeah,
days
so
later.
let's bring it down through earth now because we said we're
Yeah.
doing top down. Okay, so now explain that.
Yeah, so the Schumann resonance records the frequency bursts from Earth, which usually have a ripple effect from the solar flares, and then the Schumann
Right.
resonance goes up.
So you
So
can
this,
actually go back and look. It's not just us on Spirit Coffee Talk being like,
yeah,
hey, maybe they're connected. Yeah. So
let
when
me
you see
see.
these high spikes of these massive solar flares, you then see this like resonance that amplifies up from earth. So like as earth absorbs it, like Ginette's children with their auric field, so does the earth absorbs it on this huge base and then pulls out
Yeah.
this energetic amplification.
Hmm. And so what's really neat about the role now as humans is we get the pulse from the cosmos, but then we interface with that. We
Yeah,
also
and
get
then
the
the
pulse now from the
absorption
earth
of
and
earth. Yeah.
interface with it. So
Mhm.
we really are this, like, say if the colors from earth are green, the colors from the sky are blue, they absorb together and we are all turquoise,
Yes.
right? Like we are the hub of
Yes,
both. And
because the
this,
energetic, even how you measure it, the energetic pulse from source is different measurable energy than the of earth. So it's
mhm,
that individual frequency of both that is mixing as we
mhm,
absorb it. So we do absorb source, we do absorb earth, but they connect. And that is the beautiful uniqueness of earth beings, right? Is
mhm,
that they're able to, but the really high frequency individuals, whether it's humans or animals
mhm.
or like everything, right? Plants, water,
Plants,
everything on
forests,
earth,
yeah.
everything, yeah. Also feel it. So we
Mhm,
really, really can see it in our animals because they work on such high frequencies, right? But our golden light children, these high vibrational children are feeling it immensely right now. So if any of you know any of these like really high vibrational
mhm.
children, they will be able to feel this right now. They're really feeling it.
Totally.
But what's happening with them is that they don't have that connection with fear. So
Yeah.
their ability to amplify the energy out in a love form is much higher, but they're sensitive beings. So like careful not to get like all caught up in our worldness and
Mhm,
absorb some of this love energy from our children and our animals.
mhm.
Right? Because they came here to do that.
Totally.
They literally, that's why they're here. They're not
Yeah.
here to make up a whole bunch of the karmic stuff. Some maybe, but a lot of the little ones aren't, right?
Mhm,
And so they're here to take these beautiful amplifications of this energy and distribute it.
mhm.
And so like
Yeah.
we can learn a lot from these children and animals right now. So like slow down a sec and start
And
feeling
listen,
it.
and yeah, and pay attention. Yesterday too, I noticed, when I picked them up from school, and it makes sense again now in retrospect as I review their auras this morning, was, um, yesterday Bree came home and I laid down because I could feel the energies, right? She never naps. She will never nap. She will be sick and keep going until bedtime. She will not nap. Yesterday, she came up out of nowhere, came and laid down beside me and passed out cold.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So I'm checking her. I'm like, she have a fever? Everything's fine. She's just out cold asleep. She wakes up an hour later and she opens her eyes. She's like, Mom, Mom? And I'm like right beside her. She closes her eyes again and falls asleep with her head up. She's asleep. And then it's like, what is going on? She lays back down again, gets up. She's like, I'm going to go do something. She doesn't know what she's doing. Walks around the house, checks the computer, comes back again 10 minutes later, lays down and goes to sleep again for another half an hour.
That
Like,
is incredible.
I would normally think something is seriously wrong with her, but she just needed the integration time.
Yeah,
She
big
was fine
time.
last
Think
night and
about
her
how
aura
much
is
they're
huge.
doing. Yeah. My Rivy, my littlest one, same thing. She was
Yeah.
flat out like all afternoon yesterday. I'm like, holy mother. And same thing. I was feeling her and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, is she okay? And so my guides were like, just put your hand on her back. So I put her because she's like face down. I
Yeah.
put my hand on her back and it was just like this pulsating of like integrative energy. It's almost like they gave me the visual of like these tiny little specks of light that are like working to integrate everything because she's just
Mhm.
this beacon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, okay. And then I felt it. I'm like, oh, that's nice, So I just let
Yeah.
her sleep and she slept and slept. And then I'm like, oh, she's never gonna sleep tonight. Yeah, she did.
She
She held
did.
my hand and just like zonked last night
Yeah.
too. So yeah, these little beings are just such
Yeah.
beautiful representation of the light,
Yeah.
right?
It's
And
so
it's such a
true.
nice message too, because I don't know why or who needs to hear this, but it's like a lot of things can get caught up with the energy of old, like the old power source energy, the old kind of like I don't want to just say masculine, but just like how the power energy ruled kind of thing with government, and we can look at that and know very much that it still exists for people as a reality.
Mhm.
And but what they want to say is that to have patience and light and know that it is like a coin. It's like a coin. You can flip to one side or the other to really see what you want to see, and know
Mhm.
that there's two sides to the coin. And right now, the light is so powerful, and that you're able to just literally flip the coin to be able to see, feel, integrate, and enjoy that which is being brought in to humankind, to Earth as a whole, of this higher frequency energy, and to be able to bask in that light and enjoy that love frequency, because it's there for everybody to enjoy. So it might just be as simple as flipping a coin for people to change the perspective in which we're looking at right now.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, that resonates too.
Mhm. Yeah, that's nice.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
because
Beautiful.
really, when we're feeling these energies for the solar flare, they're like, guys, this is a gift. This is a
Mm,
gift of light and love. Like, receive it. Although we can obviously feel it,
mhm,
breathing into it and using that and enjoying Earth's pulsations, because it's just like pulsating this like really high frequency. So we
mhm,
really can enjoy it.
mhm. Yeah. And I want to say too that the earth is speaking back in different ways right now too. So like the earth has the Schumann resonance, of which it's showing uh it's receiving of this conscious light. But at the same time too, there's a lot of visuals that we've been getting about the earth right now too, of more coming up from within. And I know mine was more specifically feeling this like volcanic like energy
Spewing.
where I was standing on top of magma in a volcano and I could feel it like burping as it was kind of like ready to burst, and not knowing when it will finally burst, but knowing it's really close. And so there is this next level frequency to be released from the earth that we haven't quite felt yet, but I felt the rolling of it just the other
Yeah.
day. I sat down to tune in, and as soon as I closed my eyes, I was almost thrown off my chair
Mm.
energetically by feeling this roll that felt like it almost picked up the earth and rolled like the
Like this.
grass in a wave. Yeah,
Yeah.
that this new frequency is coming, but there's going to be more. So I imagine there's going to be a lot more earth activity still.
Oh, there absolutely is. They showed me earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and also actual like cracking of the earth,
Mhm.
for the purpose of release.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, it feels like it's release based.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, most of it all is release based. If you think about
mhm,
it, she
mhm,
is um she's releasing so much of what she's absorbed for humankind's involvement. Like, our earth is so nurturing and so energetically um sensitive and loving, that she has absorbed so much density and physicality of the imbalance of human, mostly destruction,
mhm,
energetically,
mhm,
behavioral, all that, like the karmic stuff. She has worked so hard to try to stay balanced by literally absorbing it. Hence, like, our poor soil, her soil is really
mhm.
taking a hit. You
Yeah.
see so much um of the effects of it. You really do. Obviously, we can get into it in different ways, but how they're explaining it to me is like, she's tired and she's absorbed it so much that now, with this pulsation or this like amazing, incredible influx of this higher light frequency that is coming in, helping her to regenerate, because essentially Earth is so friggin' important, right? Like, we've been seeing this Earth experiment that has, from the beginning of Earth, right? Of this supposedly supposed to be this beautiful utopian kind of place, obviously taking different turns, but um she is now being healed, and it's like, yeah, humans can do a lot, but like source is saying, okay, well, we really need to step in. We've got all the councils that we've been talking to are like, number one priority Earth, but that is also, it's like she needs this huge, huge healing love burst from source to be able to be absorbed to do some of the healing. But how is she going to get some of this old frequency that she's been absorbing for so long? Well, it's not going to be the total destruction of Earth, but as sure as heck as she has to release it. She can't absorb it forever, or else Earth would crumble. And we can't have Earth crumbling. So this is all a part of this. It's all a part of this, like this beautiful, energetic exchange of input and output. And so she's receiving this, but she's also letting go of that. She's exhaling, releasing a lot of that negative energy, that I say negative charged, maybe, of that
Yeah.
absorption of density. Does that make sense? Is this resonating with you? Because this is exactly how they're explaining it to me in obviously oversimplistic terms, but for us to be able to conceptualize.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that.
And we are to be obviously called to open up some of these beautiful ley lines over around the earth, to be able to open up for her to receive some of this higher source, and then us to be able to then take forward some of these deep rooted memories and from earth, right? So there's going to be more exchange. There's going to be more spots around the globe that we're going to be opening for higher energy to be absorbed, right?
Yeah.
So that she can start regulating a little better, right? And we can start working in this higher frequency. Whereas like some of the density, like how does it resonate with you to be able to like almost visualize it, like on the days of Avalon, or where the density, the human density in the earth, you weren't able to actually even feel the memories of it anymore because it can't exist in that frequency, right? So the density of our earth kind of took over in that certain third dimensional frequency. But there's still some beings that always kind of stayed within the higher frequency that we could just never see, right? It's almost like now earth is opening up into different energetic fields where certain individuals or certain beings of light can be able to experience things on that higher frequencies that maybe some never will. So it's like within the same plane, we have two levels of existence, right?
Yes. And that's very evident now, and it'll become more evident for people. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really neat because it again shows the evolution. And once you see that, you really get to choose where you are within it.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
we were
Like,
talking about that because once you hit a certain level, it's like you can't really go back.
you
You
can't
can't really,
unknow it,
you
right? You
can't
can't
unknow it.
unknow it. That's the
That's
thing.
right.
You would have to try really hard to try and embody ignorance, but you just, even in that state, you can't unknow it.
That's right.
It's kind of like a
Well,
zip tie. Like
yeah.
it kind of only goes tighter and then stays there unless you
Yeah.
tighten it more. So
Yeah.
it's a really neat point of evolution right now, which is very much on a galactic timeline. And so just many of us and most people watching, pretty much anyone watching this really that's resonating, is on that timeline. They've grown to that timeline, which
Totally.
is timely
It
also.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's exactly how they said it would be.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Amazing.
really beautiful. Anything
Hmm.
else that you want to add about earth energy, or messages from our earth, or from your guides, or from the earth?
Let me see here.
Okay.
This is interesting because it came up in, well, I mean, it's not out yet, but on Monday's April energy update, as well as is followed by the podcast the week after. And so it's interesting they're wanting to bring it up again. Is one of the neat things about the energy of April moving forward is soul contract alignments are going to become very real, very in your face. These synchronistic
Yes.
events, these alignments of like even meeting different people that help you on your path, different relationships, whatever it may be, are becoming real. So April is like the kickoff of next level, next phase of your soul contracts coming into play.
Yes.
Like it's already in the blueprints, individually and collectively, those things are now being, we could say, activated. There's momentum behind them to make those things happen.
Which is totally timely as well with the Earth's sun. And when you think of like the egg, right? And that being like representation of like the beginning, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And so I really feel like that rebirth kind of feeling, energy behind what soul contracts are really coming for. Whole soul contracts are so evident in my being right now. That's so cool
mhm,
that you said that.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear it all the time from my like from my guides, but like when I say my guides, these new guides that have come in to guide me,
yeah.
wow, they're so powerful.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. Any other last minute messages?
Well, I kind of
I
broke
mean, you
through as we
have
were
been
talking
channeling a
through.
lot.
I have
So,
been. I know it almost, it's funny. It almost seems like it's like ongoing all the time from
yeah.
these light beings that are guiding with
Yeah.
me. It's like I'm just like being guided all the time, and I'll just see people and I'll just be smiling. I'm smiling because I can just feel this like pulsation of light through my heart. And I'll tell you, like, it's not like I'm an angry or I was an angry person, but that wasn't really my vibe. I didn't always just walk around and just be like, hi, like, and I would like see people's soul and their energy and their aura, and they're like, all this stuff is just like, so, before it was like, yeah, I would come through and I'd, connect with it, but on a human level, I'd be much more like, meh. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. And it's, what, even more than that is like people who I would observe that would almost bug me. Where I'm
Mhm.
like, what the heck are you so happy about? Not all the
Stop being so
time.
happy.
Sometimes it would be a little annoying,
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm just like freaking Snow White all the time, but I sure
Yeah.
feel like it. There's animals all over me. I got
Yeah.
birds at my feet. I got random cats that I get up and like just all my animals are just staring at me, much less my human children, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, I get it. It's so funny.
Mhm.
It's just funny how all of this is happening in such enormous capacity for me right now. So
Mhm. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
I got a
Awesome.
new oracle deck that I want to share too.
Ooh, let's
Um,
see. What's it called?
so it's called White Light Oracle.
Oh, I've seen that one. Oh
Okay,
my
have you seen what the
goodness.
front of the cards look like, Ginette?
No, just the box, and I've been so drawn to it. It's stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning.
I've used them, and to the point where when I use them and I hold them, I'm like, whoa.
Is that the
And
front of everyone is the white wolf?
yes, and there is also a white wolf in it, but that's the front of everyone.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And I tell you, when I'm using them, I'm just like, oh my,
Oh my
oh.
goodness.
So they were gifted to me from my beautiful sister, Hilda Perlinger. And if I don't know, we got to have her on at some point. She is a
Yeah, for
beautiful
sure.
Reiki energy worker. She does amazing work with the human psyche and trauma release. She does energetic
Absolutely.
work. And yeah, she's on all the things. Hilda Perlinger is her name. And she's just like, she's one of the most beautiful light givers and receivers that I know. So anyway, this is a gift from my beautiful sister Hilda, and yeah, so just holding them, I feel the energy. Just holding them, I'm like, whoa. So
Mm.
like I like when I use them, it's in a ceremonious way because
Oh yeah.
it's like to use them, it's almost you got to hit this certain light. And
Yeah.
so I think of you often, G,
Oh,
when I'm using this because you're so deeply connected to the energy of this. And
amazing.
so when I'm using them, I feel every single time your higher self comes
Oh.
in and we do a little dance as we receive the messages here. So
Is there one for everybody today? Is there one card for
okay, let's
today?
see. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sweating now. I'm sweating.
There's the heat.
Oh, okay. Like honestly, as soon as I started holding them, I was sweating because
Yeah,
they're just packed with energy.
that's amazing.
Oh, I can feel it tingling through the bottom of my feet. So I'm pulling it up from the earth right now, straight from source as well. Okay. So it's the mental telepathy card is 36. I pulled this morning too.
Ooh. Oh,
It's like the
that's
light seer.
beautiful.
So essentially what this is, when I read it this morning, what this is like trusting the light, trusting that telepathic communication is so open right now, and that comes with these solar flares, that comes with the frequency of the light, because it comes in with such knowledge, a knowledge
Mhm.
on a higher level. So it's all talking about how we are light seers. This is what everything in which we are talking about today.
Mhm.
So more specifically, what they want to say is, because there is more amplification of the light, we're all being given the gift of being able to see, hear, know, like on a level that's higher than when our consciousness hits in, our ego hits in, and be like, okay, when? Show me, prove it to me.
Mhm.
It's like,
Mhm.
you already know. That
Yeah.
first inclination is the right, it's like source is guiding you with messages already. So trust it,
Mhm.
write it down, feel into it, trust yourself, and be open to receive it and communicate it. If there's somebody that you want to communicate with that's hard to communicate on humanness, go here first. Go here and
Mhm.
try to communicate with their higher self. Do that first, because that's going to help. Okay. So
Yeah.
whoever needed to hear
Beautiful.
that.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's so timely. So perfect.
Yay.
Yeah. Awesome.
What a beautiful chat. What a beautiful
Mm.
Friday chat today.
Mhm.
G,
It
thanks
really
so
was.
much.
Yeah. Thank you too. And to your guides for bringing the messages
Yes,
through.
thank you
That's
to the
beautiful.
light guides, the light beings that have been guiding me so deeply and honestly and lovingly for the past couple weeks. So thank you for that.
Mhm. Awesome.
Yeah.
All
Okay. Well, I
right.
love you so much.
Oh, I love you
And it was
too.
so nice to have this conversation. And to everybody out there, thank you so much for joining us this week and opening your heart and your soul to this light from Mother Earth and from Source. So I send my love to each and every one of you.
All right, everyone. See you next week.
See you next week.